We enter the home stretch of the Texas high school football season, and the push for the playoffs begins now. These are the picks. Welcome into the picks presented by Visit Arlington, your guide to the Texas high school football weekend. My name is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football on TexasFootball.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Into October we go in earnest, and this means that the weather's cooling off, but the Texas high school football action is just heating up. We've got huge games all across the state, and it's not just that these games are district games, but we're also getting a number of games where we're getting kind of a playoff preview. Teams that figure to be contenders going at it head to head. It's an exciting time of year, a lot of interesting games around the state. We start in Austin. 7 o'clock Friday night at Gupton Stadium in Cedar Park. It is a 5A slugfest between the Cedar Park Timberwolves and the Hutto Hippos. What are the keys to this matchup? Key number one, the other matchup. So we're going to pay a lot of attention to what happens when the Hutto offense takes aim at this Cedar Park defense, and we will get to that, don't you worry. But I'm really interested in the other side of this matchup as well. You know, the Hutto defense has been really excellent all year long, but have they been tested like they're going to be against Cedar Park? Ryder Hernandez, the quarterback for Cedar Park, has really found his groove. He was absolutely sensational last week, and this offense is starting to hum. Now, Hutto has an outstanding linebacker in Jason Vogelpohl, and they're going to need a big game from him as well as the entire Hutto defense. So to me, while all the headlines are going to be about Hutto's offense against Cedar Park's defense, what happens on the other side? Key number two, Hutto's senior core. You know, Hutto lost their superstar quarterback from last year, Chase Griffin. He's off at UCLA now, and sophomore quarterback Grayson Doggett has stepped up in a big way to really keep this Hutto attack humming. But he is kind of the only underclassman on this offense. The rest of this attack is really experienced and really senior-laden. Running back Campbell and wide receiver Dejon Harrison are just a few of these outstanding seniors who provide not only great experience but great leadership to this offense. So while a lot of attention is going to be paid to the sophomore quarterback, can these seniors step up in a big game? And key number three, Cedar Park's turnover margin. You know about the Black Rain defense, the outstanding and traditionally strong defense for the Timberwolves, and Coach Carl Absek has kept that thing humming every single year. But the thing that they are most known for is forcing turnovers. They're known for coming up with that big play, and to wit, when they force turnovers, they tend to win. Go back to their season opener against Vandegrift, their only loss of the year. Cedar Park was -2 in the turnover margin. Since then, in the 6 wins that they've had, they're +8 total in turnover margin. This is the key. Can Cedar Park not only protect the ball, but force a couple of big plays? Who am I picking? I'm going with Cedar Park. I know it's a bit of an upset as far as the Dave Campbell's Texas football rankings are concerned, but I really like the way that Cedar Park is playing right now. This offense has hit a new gear. Quarterback Ryder Hernandez has been terrific, and more importantly, I think the offensive line has really stepped up. That's a huge, huge advantage, I think, for Cedar Park. Going up against a Hutto defense that has been good, but I want to see them pass this big test. Now, look, Grayson Doggett, the quarterback for Hutto, is absolutely capable of taking this game over, and going up against the Cedar Park defense is going to be really fun to watch. But I think being at home helps. I think Cedar Park's senior-laden defense makes the difference. I think the Timberwolves bring home a critical win. That Cedar Park versus Hutto matchup is obviously huge, but there are, believe it or not, 6 matchups of undefeated teams in Week 8 of the Texas high school football season, so why don't we just spotlight each and every one of them. We start 7 p.m. Friday night at Eagle Stadium in Decatur as unbeaten Springtown takes on unbeaten Decatur, and if you like superstars on the offense, you are going to love this game. Springtown running back Cameron Rickett has been fantastic, and their quarterback Camden Chesney I think has been really underrated. For Decatur, we knew they were going to score, and they have. Quarterback Roman Fuller is in complete command of this offense, and their running game with Gunnar Ragsdale has really stepped up. The difference for me in this game is defense, and that's where I think Springtown may have the big advantage. Linebacker Ricky Brown leads what I think is an under-the-radar Porcupines defense. I think that is the difference. Give me Springtown over Decatur. 7 o'clock Friday night at Tommy Briggs Stadium in the Colony. It's a 5A matchup of unbeatens as Frisco Lone Star takes on the Colony. And this is a game we've pretty much had circled ever since the Colony made their presence known with a win over Frisco Reedy in non-district play. You know, we've talked about how Frisco Lone Star has looked every bit the part of the #1 team in 5A Division I. Quarterback Garrett Rangel has been terrific. Wide receiver Marvin Mims might be the best player in the state right now. And their defense has been absolutely sensational. Where they're taking on a team from the Colony that has kind of reinvented itself on the fly. Coach Rudy Rangel has kind of overhauled this offense, and it's paid huge dividends. Quarterback Mikey Harrington is really slinging it right now. They've got an outstanding individual playmaker in Miles Price out wide, and their defense makes plays. They have 30 sacks on the year. That is going to be a big key for the Colony. Can they get pressure on Garrett Rangel, make him uncomfortable? I think right now Frisco Lone Star is playing too well for anybody really to touch them at this point. I think that this game may be the closest we've seen from Frisco Lone Star, at least since their win over Highland Park. But I think the Rangers keep rolling. Give me Lone Star. Let's go to 2A, 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Weimer Stadium in Weimer as the Shiner Comanches take on the Weimer Wildcats in a battle of unbeatens. And, you know, Ravondre Wicks, the running back for Weimer, has been sensational, averaging more than 170 yards per game on the ground. But I think the defense is really what shines for this Wildcats team, led by linebacker Vicente Cabrera. You know, we haven't talked a ton about Shiner this year. And this is a team that I think, because they've been absolutely bludgeoning people, they have outscored their opponents by more than 300 points this season. They just kind of been bobbing along, and maybe it's because Refugio has been taking up a lot of attention in Region 4, but this Comanches team is really good. Running back Donye Taylor has been exceptional, and their defense is absolutely crushing people. I actually think this game has a chance to be pretty low scoring with two defenses really leading the way, but I lean towards the Comanches in this one. Give me Shiner. Back up to 5A, 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Tiger Stadium in College Station. A&M Consolidated takes on unbeaten Katy Paetow. And, you know, A&M Consolidated passed a big test last week against an undefeated team when they drubbed Lamar Consolidated, thanks to quarterback Gage Paul and some big plays from wide receiver Devin Price. Not to mention, I think their defense really impressed me last week. That's a big-time Lamar Consolidated offense, and they were able to shut them down, led by their defensive back, Bryce Linder. Katy Paetow, what a story that they are. Just in their second varsity season, already undefeated. Their coach, BJ Gotti, has built them into a power in a hurry. But this is their big test. Their running back, Jonathan Jolly, has been terrific. But their opponents are just 9-28 on the season. The big question is, has Paetow been tested? They're in for a big test in this one. Right now, I think A&M Consolidated is rolling in such a way that big play offense is hitting on all cylinders, and that defense starting to hit its stride. That's scary. I like the Tigers in this one. Let's go to 3A, 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Indian Stadium in Tuscola as unbeaten Wall takes on unbeaten Jim Ned, and this one is going to be fun. You know, I think that from a perception perspective, both these teams are pretty similar. You know, Wall has a big-time offense led by quarterback Mason Fuchs and an outstanding running back in Chase Rios. That flex bone attack is really humming. But the defense, I think, has been the real star, led by Joe Morrison in the front seven. You know, on the other side for Jim Ned, they also have a really big offense with quarterback Riley Perry and a bevy of weapons around him, but I think the defense has been the star. They have an outstanding defense that has pitched 4 shutouts in their 6 games, and that is going to be where this game is won and lost. Both of these defenses are going to face, in my opinion, their biggest challenge to date. This game is going to be close. I think it's going to be really hard-hitting and physical, but I think I lean towards Wall in a squeaker. Give me the Hawks. And let's round it out in 5A, 7 o'clock Friday night at Freedom Field in Iowa. Colony as Friendswood takes on Alvin Shadow Creek in another battle of unbeatens. And what a win for Friendswood last week, turning District 10 5A Division I, which really might be the best district in all of Texas, upside down with an upset win over Richmond Foster. Quarterback Luke Gurdon has been really exceptional, and you got to believe that they can beat anybody right now. That defense came up with big plays at the big moment. Well, here's anybody in Alvin Shadow Creek. This team has not skipped a beat. We knew their defense was going to be special, led by their safety Xavier Alford, but I would argue that that offense is even more dangerous with quarterback Kyron Jones at the helm. Right now, this game comes down to whether or not Friendswood is able to find any sort of traction offensively against what's been a lights-out Shadow Creek defense. I think this game has a chance to be pretty close and potentially high-scoring. But for now, I think the Sharks bring home another win and stay undefeated. But those are far from the only big games in Week 8 of the Texas high school football season. Let's get to the lightning round. I like Wimberley over Bandera. Waco Connolly gets by Mejia in that wild Central Texas district. And I like Sealy to beat El Campo. Sharyland Pioneer beats rival Sharyland. Give me Sabine to stay perfect with a win over West Rusk. And I like Mesquite in a high-scoring shootout over Tyler Lee. Rogers over Hamilton. Rockdale over Troy. And East Bernard beats Ganado. Paul Pewitt beats DeKalb. Palmer stays hot with a win over Edgewood. And I like Converse Judson to beat Smithson Valley. Hughes Springs over Hooks. Fort Bend Travis beats Fort Bend Ridgepoint. And I think Corpus Christi Flower Bluff just barely over Corpus Christi Miller. Canutillo over El Paso Riverside. Give me Bremont over Granger. And Abernathy takes down Coahoma. Some very close games to call. I like Beeville Jones over Gonzales. Give me Arlington Martin over rival Arlington. And give me Waco La Vega over Stephenville. Stratford over Vega. San Augustine beats Groveton. And in a big game in Central Texas, I like Round Rock over Stony Point. Pleasant Grove in a close one over Gilmer. Give me Lubbock Cooper over Wichita Falls Ryder. And I like Gunner over Wichita Falls City View. Atascocita outslugs Pasadena Dobie. And in our six-man game of the week, I like Blum over Covington. And those are the picks. What am I wrong about? Which games did I leave out? Leave comments down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbells. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbells. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks for watching. Enjoy Week 8 of the Texas high school football season. We'll see you.